go. I don't know if it's going or not, but anyway, we'll just go with it. So anyway, yeah, this is Sunday, so it is our typical live stream. Now, for those of you who are watching this in the future who might not know, this is a good chance to actually yeah. Oh, and I realized I just forgot to change. Oh well, I'll change the pick later on. But this is a good chance for me to, talk to the fans, talk to my viewers, talk to the community who has helped make this channel grow, and which we are all, very strong in. Now, I will say, I have to point this out every single time, it is a live stream. So as a result, we don't always know where it's going to go. There's not always going to be a point. It can go here, it can go there, it can go anywhere we want. However, as per most live streams, the most important parts are within the first 10 to 15 minutes. So if you are coming here for the topic at hand, you just have to stick around for like 10 or 15 minutes and everything will be fine. Also, for those of you who might be watching and want to talk, hey, we totally encourage it. Please, thumbs up, comment, ask questions, do whatever you want except for like be mean to one another. We are going to do that. However, how should I put this? Lost. Oh yeah. Keep in mind that there is a little bit of a delay. So when you ask me a question, I might not get it right away. And before we begin, though, I would like to say a little thank you. I mean, once in a while, people do send me things to my P.O. box I have listed below, and I haven't checked in a little while, to be honest, but I did receive this in the mail. This is really cool. It's a program for when one of my viewers, Ryan's Treasures, actually went to see Fantasia live in concert. That sounded like a great show. He also sent me some of these other booklets. This one being the most interesting. This was where he went and met Haley Mills, and I guess this was a convention, and it looked like there were a lot of interesting people to visit. Some of the cast members of Forrest Gump and all that jazz. So yeah, this looked like this was going to be a fun. They have like a reunion of Revenge of the Nerds. That was awesome. So anyway, thank you for sending that, Ryan. That was really thoughtful of you. Speaking of which, he's here. Oh, and I'm glad you enjoyed the unboxing of Roma. That's on my vlog channel, the Apptrepreneur Vlogs. Hey, William, how you doing? And Lisa is here, one of my patrons. And Nathaniel, another YouTube member here. Kevin, do you think that Uber's honoring the 75-25 split for California drivers? I hope so. If they're not, then they're going to get in trouble. El Chapo's here, and ZD, I'm debating if I should do Uber. I'm jobless. Well, that's a tricky situation. I think that's why so many people stick to doing this. I think they get jobless and they get desperate. I mean, that's why I started Uber. I was jobless and I needed something to do for money. And hey, you know what? Compared to doing nothing, hey, you do what you have to. If you have to do Uber to make some money, by all means, go ahead and do it. I wouldn't make it your full-time thing. I would do it as long as you could, in the sense that until you got another job. Now, once you got another job, I'd probably leave it behind. Hey, Bruce, how you doing? It's like always I don't know if I've seen you in a while, but welcome. I'm glad to have you. So anyway, the main topic, and of course my wife's down there. The main topic at hand was an article that I read in Business Insider. However, for some reason, even though I am a member of Business Insider Premium, I can't log on to Business Insider Premium on the computer. However, I can log on to it on my Surface. So, we are going to be looking at this article from the Surface. Sorry about that. I don't know how this is going to make it look. My nose is really itchy right now. I hate it when that happens. And the title of this article is, Here's Why Business Experts Think Uber's Profitability Pledge is Misleading and Meaningless. And they have profitability in quotations. And it's letting me know that Uber is up to 4103. Geez, I might actually get my money back on this. Anyway, Uber finally gave its investors a reason to cheer. The longtime money-losing company announced last week it expects to finally hit profitability by the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the reasons why the stock is going up, because when, as I mentioned in another video, when CEOs make promises like that, They do so knowing that their job's on the line. If they don't fulfill that promise, they could get voted out. So it's usually seen as like a little bit of a confidence booster, if you will, for the shareholders, that a CEO would basically put his reputation on the line like that. But the company's promise wasn't all that it might have seemed. Uber's executives weren't actually promising that it would be profitable by the end of the year, at least not on standard accounting basis. Nor were they necessarily promising that it would start generating cash by then. Instead, they were promising that the company would be profitable on a basis the company itself has created and defined. So, what's that mean? Well, here's what it means. That basis, which the company called adjusted earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, or adjusted EBITDA, we've talked about this before, leaves out a whole host of expenses, as its name implies, even more so than EBITDA, a somewhat standardized term. It wouldn't be a big surprise if Uber does post a profit on that basis, business experts told Business Insider. But because the company itself can define what expenses it includes and leaves out in adjusted EBITDA, investors shouldn't be overly impressed if it does become profitable on that basis. So what's basically here right now is that the numbers can be whatever Uber wants it to be. They can be whatever Uber wants to be. And so Uber says, hey, at this number, we're profitable. At this amount, we can pull in some money, and that doesn't always work out. I mean, you want to know another company that did that a lot and said, hey, by our numbers, we're profitable? Enron. Enron said, hey, by our numbers, we're the most profitable company in the world. And very few people actually looked at the numbers. And then when they did look at the numbers finally and they realized that it wasn't adding up, well, you all know what happened there. And if you don't, Enron, the smartest guys in the room, the documentary that should have won Best Documentary that year, but lost because there were a bunch of marching penguins, I believe is still available to stream on Netflix. I think if you want to see the future of Uber, watch that documentary. That might be a big clue about what's going on. So, here's one finance professor called Philip Braun said, I think it's likely that they will hit the profitability target, but I don't think it's meaningful. I view it as a vacacious statement. And the reason that they're doing this, of course, is because they're under a lot of pressure to become profitable. Hey, Dustin's in the house. So's Moose 54321. How you guys doing? Anyway, like many other unprofitable tech companies, Uber has been under increasing pressure from public investors to show that it can be a cash-generating business. Under standard accounting rules, the company lost $8.5 billion last year on $14.1 billion in revenue. It saw a $4.9 billion overflow of cash from its operations and investments in property and equipment. Thanks in part to such numbers, the company's stock has fared poorly since it went public last year, consistently trading below its $45 offering price and the company's $72 billion peak private valuation. And again, that was private valuation. I knew all along it wasn't worth that much money. CEO Dara Khosrowshahi and his team have been trying to assure investors that they have the situation in hand. They previously committed to reaching profitability on their adjusted EBITDA basis by next year on their call with investors and analysts following the company's fourth quarter report. They pushed that target forward by a quarter. Quote, while we've already started demonstrating strong profitability improvements, we view 2020 as a truly transformational year, Nelson Chai, Uber's chief financial officer, said in the call. Analysts that cover the company largely cheered its report and its profit prediction. Wedbush analyst Yugol Aronian called the announcement of impending positive adjustment EBITDA a shocker in a research note. Quote, this was a giant step forward for Dara and the team and shows the business model is starting to hit another gear. Well, yeah, if it's true, by the way. But those numbers illustrate the flaws in the company's preferred way of reporting its bottom line. Because here's the thing, and I'll even hold it up so you can see, Uber's profitability figure isn't actually profitability. That's gonna be an interesting one. I'm also, by the way, gonna love when I can have these articles up on the screen at the same time. Getting close to that, though. Many tech companies report or point to their EBITDA numbers. EBITDA is typically thought of as a proxy for the profitability or cash flow generated by companies' core operations, since it eliminates certain non-cash charges and income or expenses that don't come from those operations. But Uber's adjusted EBITDA figure goes far beyond typical EBITDA because Uber has to take a step beyond everything. They can't just do anything simple. They just have to take a step too far. Because the company touts numerous non-standard accounting figures and measures, its earnings releases include a glossary to define just what its bespoke term means. According to that glossary, adjusted EBITDA excludes not only what's left out of standard EBITDA, but also earnings or losses from discontinued operations, earnings or losses that can be assigned to minority investors in its subsidies, and earnings or losses from companies it has invested in. Got all that? But that's not all. It leaves out stock-based compensation, a big expense at tech companies including Uber, which saw $243 million of such costs in the fourth quarter alone. It excludes restructuring charges, $12 million of which Uber recorded in the fourth quarter. It omits impairments or losses on the sale of assets and any acquisition costs. So, bottom line is that there's a lot of expenses and charges that Uber leaves out of their EBITDA reporting, and that's kind of like lying. On top of that, it excludes other items not indicative of our ongoing operating performance, a catch-all phrase that Uber could, in theory, use to leave out just about any expense. So for what I'm getting from this is if the expenses become too cumbersome, and really the only way for them to look profitable is to just start excluding them from those reports, they'll just exclude them from the reports, and then before you know it, they look pretty profitable. Boy, this is sounding a lot more like Enron the more I read about this. So, let's see here. Given all that Uber already leaves out of the adjusted EBITDA and what it could, it wouldn't be all surprising if the company meets its goal of becoming profitable on that basis, the business experts say. Do I think it's possible they will hit the profitability target as they defined it, said Rob Siegel, a lecturer at management, Stanford Graduate School of Business. Sure. And he says, sure. But the report is reminiscent of those old .com days. And for those of you who don't remember, again, we're using Enron as an example. All those .com days used to hold up reports like this is how much we're taking and this is how much we're making, and they're excluding certain expenses. They made their pitch on like the future profits, what's coming, and well, it didn't work out for a lot of those companies. Enron, Pets.com, what's that store? Calamijo, something like that. I don't know. It was I gotta refresh this because I accidentally. Oh well. Anyway, so yeah, Todd, they lost $8 billion last year, and they're still in business. I mean, geez, I remember when Disney was in trouble because John Carter lost $200 million, and they were forced to take that right down. Because here's the thing that that some people don't understand: these companies aren't made of money. You don't have to. They're not made of money. They can't just perpetually lose it. They don't have it sitting in the bank. It's usually in the form of loans or things like that. And you know, especially with business today, where the whole thing is if you take profits, you put it into other aspects of the business. Well, like other projects and stuff, that means when a project fails outright, then you are in trouble. Anyway, I think we're done with our article. I've linked to it below. I think we got all the key stuff out of it, and there's a lot more, obviously, but that's the thing. Uber's not. These experts believe that Uber is not being completely honest with their numbers. I have no reason to believe they would be honest with their numbers. I really don't. They're not honest about a lot of things. So, you know, there you go. By the way, this Crystal Light raspberry tea is really good, and there's no sugar in it, apparently. So, all right, so that's the main story. So for those of you who are watching this in the future, after the live stream, I guess if you don't want to continue, that's pretty much where the video ends. However, we are going to continue going for everyone else, everyone who's here. We're going to do some back and forth, questions, answers, comments. If any of you are in here and you're enjoying yourself so far, give it a thumbs up. It's really helpful to the algorithm. I cannot stress how much it helps with the algorithm. Do you realize how good your channel would do if you got 100 likes per video? Liking videos is an amazing way to support everyone you watch, and it only takes a couple seconds. So anyway, let's see some of these questions. I see. Oh, oops. No, I don't want to do that. I see Bruce. Oh, and yeah, Ryan, no problem. I'm glad that you. And thank you for the videos. Thank you for the items, everything. Bruce. William says I do it part-time. It's great. Yeah, you know, it probably doing Uber is fun part-time. I kind of miss it, to be honest, but I just have a hard time justifying the depreciation on the car. My car will not survive a whole lot longer if I've been able to extend my car's life probably by 5 years by not doing rideshare anymore. So there you go. And Katie has extended her car's life for a good 5 years because she's not doing rideshare anymore. She's just doing a lot of overtime work now, which gives me time to make all the videos for you guys and on the other channels as well. So, Larry Crow. Hey, Larry, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? My 1099 was off $15,000. Uber Box 7 only had 1,677. I don't know what to tell you on that one. But I will say this. When it comes to your 1099s, I mean, granted, yeah, obviously you include whatever Uber sends, but write your own miles down. Keep a track of where you're driving, pen and paper, classic way of doing it. Because here's the thing. Uber, for example, Uber fudges the numbers a lot. And one of the ways that they fudge the numbers, by the way, is this. When they say you have this many miles driven, they only count miles that you were driving a passenger. All the time that you spent going to pick them up, they don't count. So you will want to have those miles documented so you can write it off. So I am not surprised that there is a discrepancy in the 1099. I also know that there's this thing in there. I forgot exactly what it was because it's been a while since I've signed up and filled out a 1099 from Uber. But there's this little thing that they pay you and then they take it back. And so they make it look like, okay, they're paying you this, and I think so they can write it off, but then they take it back anyway. So Uber accounting is extremely shady. So Boosted 914 says you should do a report on Uber's 1099Ks being wrong. Well, I think I just did that, but the thing is, I can't prove that they're wrong, and that one of the hard things to do a story like that is you need to have like a 1099, and you have to start showing some personal information, and I'm not getting it, so I'm not going to do that, and I wouldn't recommend anybody give that to me to do. It's just way too risky. And of course that might single you out, because if I'm sharing very specific ways on how they're wrong, then Uber's going to know who it came from. So no, you probably don't want me to do that. So it's nice to see Dustin in here, and Cali News. I don't know if I've ever seen you before, Cali News, but welcome to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. Let's see here. And John Wayne said, Ford is at $8 a share. Why not go crazy and buy it? You know, here's an interesting thing. I'm going to start talking about stocks and Robinhood tomorrow. I've edited my first video. It's going to be a bi-weekly, I think, series. Dustin recommended I do it, and I agree that might not be a terrible thing. And so we're going to try a new series starting tomorrow. We're also going to try, I don't know if anyone here, we're going to try a different music track. In fact, I almost titled this video the music-free live stream, but I didn't. But here's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm getting a mixed reaction on the music right now. And so far, no one's commented and said they like it, for whatever it's worth. No one's commented that they like it, and a few people have been very vocal about not liking the music. However, I read that when you add music, it tends to maintain people's interest. And sure enough, my videos have been watched 2 to 3 minutes longer on average than usual since adding the music. That said, even though I've turned it down, I think the music choice that I picked is definitely, or it can be distracting if certain instruments hit at certain times. So we're going to be sticking with the music, but we're going to change the track. I found a track that is a little bit more subtle, but it's still, consistent. So we're going to see how that works out. So I don't know if the music has been a failure or a success so far. It's a success in the sense that it seems to have resulted in people watching the videos more, which is what I want. But no one's actually complimented it. And everyone who comments on it actually hate it. So we're going to tweak it a little bit. It's like, this is one of the things about changing things in your channel, adding a little bit, taking things away. You just have to play around with it just a little bit. So anyway, let's see here. Todd Knight, hey Todd, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a little while. Says Uber sucks. They pay the drivers crap. Customers are rude and cheap. Oh, customers are rude and cheap almost everywhere. John Wayne says that's why you have to use Uber to make money elsewhere. Anywhere from selling stuff in your car to advertising companies. You are a part of it in your car and have a party man like me and get hundreds of dollars in tips. Would you like to see my tip jar? It's a pretzel jar. Yeah, there's just one of the unfortunate things about that, though. Hey, and if you can do it, great. I know Dark Road Run, he has his car all set up. It's really nice. I wouldn't mind actually Ubering with him in that car. I have heard some horror stories where if you are selling extra stuff, sometimes you'll get a passenger who is so cheap, they'll text Uber and say, hey, I wanted water. They had water, but they were going to charge me for the water. And then Uber turns around and deactivates you because, hey, that is not your job. Your job is to make the customers feel at home. You give them what they want. So if you're doing it and you're making money, great, but that's probably going to come to an end. Just giving you a heads up. Anyway, and I'm going to skip that comment. Any drivers in the chat? I think we do have some drivers in the chat. Moose says, SoftBank is a large shareholder. I believe they own 25% of Uber, something like that. And we're going to talk about SoftBank tomorrow too, most likely. If not tomorrow, then Tuesday. Hey, Sovereign Resistance, how you doing? Nice to see you again. Did I miss the news? I think you missed the news, I'm sorry to say. But welcome anyway. You're here for the chat. Let's see here. Bruce says, yep, same for me with DoorDash, not doing food delivery anymore. And Nathaniel said, I paid off both of my cars. Well, that's nice. And hey, I paid off my car too. That's not really the point. The point is, the cars always depreciate in value. And I do want another car. This car is starting to get a little old. I want a hybrid. And if I keep doing rideshare, it's going to be depreciated to the point where it's not going to be worth anything when it's time to sell. I think I'm going to sell it either at the end of this year or next year for a down payment on the car. And right now, the value is at like it's almost $4,000, I believe. But if I kept doing it, it might be worth $1,000 at the end of the year. So, anyway. And Cali News said it best, rideshare will kill your vehicle. And I mean, hey, look, you've seen some of the Uber tubers out there who actually do drive and they drive for a living. They're turning in their car every 2 to 3 years. That gets extremely expensive. And Ryan says, oh, sorry, comment got lost. Since you're in the Los Angeles area, what do you personally think is the best way of transportation from the LAX airport? Well, calling an Uber, of course. I mean, look, I do not go to LAX for a very good reason. LAX sucks. I mean, granted, their flights are a lot cheaper than John Wayne or Long Beach, but it sucks to get in and out of that airport. It sucks to get in to the drop-off area. It sucks to park. It sucks to get through the TDA. Everything about LAX sucks from a customer service perspective. Now, granted, you have a lot of options with LAX, a lot of nonstop flights, but you know what? I hate that airport so much that when Katie and I went on our honeymoon, went out of John Wayne, and there was like a layover flight, and family members kept pointing out, like, hey, you would have a one-way flight nonstop to Hawaii from LAX. And it's like, yeah, but it takes an hour to get there, maybe more. It takes an hour to get in. But John Wayne, you have a friend take you there and they drop you off and it takes 15 minutes at most. So I would avoid LAX. I would go to Long Beach. I would go to John Wayne. Yes, you will pay a little more money. You absolutely will. But the headache you are saving it's massive. It's massive. Now, granted, I think I know why you're asking me this, Ryan. Something tells me you're finally going to take advantage of that offer you were given. And hey, again, kudos to you. That you deserve that. But here's the thing. I think you're also going to go to a certain theme park in Anaheim, if I believe. So, here's the thing. John Wayne and Long Beach are much closer to Anaheim. You can get a hotel in Orange County or Anaheim, something like that. And you can just do your long drive one day to go to Burbank and come back. And most of the stuff you might want to do that's, mouse ear related, if you will, is closer to Anaheim than Burbank and LA. So, just throwing that out there. Granted, I know you have the El Capitan in Hollywood and all that jazz, but I don't know. I would avoid LAX possibly. So, okay, I'm going to move on. But, that was an interesting question, I'd say. So, Boosted914 said, so question, if we could become employees, are we going to get screwed in back taxes? No, you shouldn't, because it was implemented this year. This is all it should affect. Callie News says, long-term sub, love watching your... Oh, jeez, I hate when that moves. Long-term sub, love watching your commentary on all apps, even though I don't drive anymore. Love when Katie's on the channel, too. Well, I appreciate it. I'm sure she appreciates that, too. Bruce says, okay, add a 10-second music clip every 5 minutes. No, the music's going to be constant. And keep in mind, there's a lot of channels that do music throughout the video and are fine. My favorite example is Clownfish TV. I love their channel. They have music playing the whole time and nobody cares. So I think the trick is just finding the right music. And some people will just never like the music, because I've been doing it without music for so long that, of course, you add it and they're not going to like it. And at that point, you got to say, well, you can either get used to it or you can leave, which is mean sounding, I know. But keep in mind, we're talking about YouTube here. I realize that there's only so seriously you can take the comment section sometimes. When I was watching Nostalgia Critic and he admitted, when they moved offices and they got, a wall with, a different shade of white, people, made a big deal about the wall being a different color. And it's this is just YouTube. Sometimes it's hard to figure out where's the constructive criticism and where's the people who just are never happy. So, but I'm trying to figure it out. Rainbow Nation Tour Inc., who I also don't recognize, so welcome if you've never been here before. Hi, do you still have new info on Pull Up and Go? Are they still around? I'm not aware that they're still around. I think they're gone. But they do still have an active website, so maybe. But honestly, I never heard much about them after the initial announcement. Leanne Walworth, who I also don't recognize, so welcome if this is your first time, says, hi all. Hi. Todd says, worst company I have ever seen. I drove for 3 months, didn't even make minimum wage. I learned my area. I did my homework. I started to make a little bit of money after 2 weeks, but it wasn't it. I make over 100K per year. I just want to see if I could do this in retirement. No effing way. Well, if you're retired, I think reason a lot of retired people do Uber and Lyft and Postmates. And by the way, I see we've got some more people here. If you want to give a thumbs up, that would really help us out. I think they know they're not really making money doing it, but they're retired. What are they going to do? do. They might as well do something with their time. So they do it to kind of help people out and to get out of the house. And I kind of agree with that. I have been unemployed a couple times in my life for like more than a year. And let me tell you something. Being unemployed for a long time can drive you nuts. I don't know how these inheritance babies do it, where they just inherit money and all they do is play all day. I run out of things to do. So, and of course, now that I do this more and I do my consulting for the companies, I have some work outside of YouTube. I now find myself like, oh, and now I have all these things I want to watch and these things I want to read, and there's not enough time to do it. If I stopped doing one of these jobs, I would catch up really fast. That's just the way life is, so, you know. But I think that's why retired people tend to do this a little bit more. So anyway, John Wayne says, water's free, I sell hot cocoa and 10-foot long cable. Well, the 10-foot long cables that, well, okay, it depends. If you're selling the cables, maybe you're okay. But if you're like charging to use the cables, that might get you in trouble. So, yeah. Sovereign Renaissance says, guess I will catch the replay after this live is over. Yeah, well, you're welcome to do that. And Moose says, TripLog app is the best app for recording true mileage. I start the app when I leave my house and do rideshare. I stop the app when I get home after doing rideshare. TripLog keeps track of the miles. Yeah, that's another good thing. Although, the only bad thing about those apps, I'd still write it down on a piece of paper. Because if the apps go under, your info goes along with it. And we have Noah Jones. Any relation to Nora Jones by any chance? Says, all cars appreciate, but only rideshare allows you to use your car to make $50K or more a year. Well, yeah, but the money, the upkeep money for those cars, particularly since you're going to be trading it in every 3 years. I mean, like here's what I kind of tell people. Okay, so some people say like, hey, I'm making $50K a year, and that sounds great. And okay, so I have to get a new car every few years. Who cares? Well, the average Toyota costs $30,000 to $40,000. You want to pay $30,000 to $4,000 a year for a new car? What's more, new cars cost a lot more money in insurance. And of course, we're not even talking about the money that you're already talking about, the oil changes, the gas, the maintenance that you're going to be spending on your current car. So, yeah, those cars, if you're making $50K a year, it's sucking half of that away just in cars. So, I mean, hey, if you want to do it, I guess do it. No problem here. No problem here. It's not my car. It's not my money. But, I mean, I sometimes think people don't really... I think some people don't really do the numbers the way they should. Oh, by the way, I noticed, Ryan, your badge is a different shade of green because you've been a member for 1 month. Congratulations. Thank you. I like how the badges actually change colors the longer you're a member. So, let's see here. Ryan says, sadly, I've already booked my... Oops, sorry, something. I've already booked my flights to LAX. I wish that I would have known that ahead of time. Well, okay, it's not that bad. Here's the thing. I will say this. When you come into LAX, getting out is not going to be that difficult. But getting back in is going to be difficult. Give yourself 3 to 4 hours before your flight. You have no idea how busy this airport can be. Okay, so Todd says, it's funny that Kevin and Uberman and Rideshare guy don't drive anymore. They are not stupid. Well, yeah, and Uberman isn't Uberman anymore. He's Auto Auctions Rebuilds. He got out of Rideshare completely. If you've been watching my channel, you'll notice I've been getting out of Rideshare. Not completely. I still like talking about them. But yeah, I'm talking about Amazon. I'm talking about Disney Plus now. I'm doing the streaming wars. We're going to be doing Robinhood very, very soon. You know, it's just... Yeah, it's a dead topic right now, and there's no future in it. And I agreed with people when it's like, yeah, how can you be making like 3 Uber videos a day and do nothing but gripe and complain? I don't think people really want that, so I'm trying to be a little bit more positive on some of the videos. You're also going to see more skits too, by the way. Moose says, how do you find the right music and avoid copyright? There's lots of ways. Their YouTube offers some free music that you can use. There's some websites that give away royalty-free music. And then there's some programs where you pay like $10 or something like that, and you have access to like thousands of royalty-free music. And the only problem with that is there's some cases even where, like, if you go to the site, you can look for the music, you can find your track, and then like pay for the license for like $49 or something like that. There's a lot of ways to do it, but if you type in royalty-free music or fair use music, something like that, you can find a lot of stuff. Let's see here. Ryan says, have you ever been to the archive at the University of California, Los Angeles? I've heard that they have hundreds of Walt-era Disney TV episodes, and they allow you to watch them in their library. I have not been there yet, but it's something I do want to do relatively soon. Nathaniel says, hey, Kevin, YouTube TV or Disney TV? I need to get rid of my Dish TV. Well, I don't know. Are you talking about Disney Plus? Here's the thing. If you want TV, then YouTube TV or Sling are the main ones. I would recommend YouTube TV personally because you'll also get YouTube Premium out of the deal. Disney Plus is separate. It's a streaming service like Netflix or Hulu. It's not live TV. But, hey, if you really like your Disney stuff, Disney Plus is pretty nice. Me and Kate are right now watching that Diary of a Future President, and it's okay. We're enjoying it. It's not great, but it's a solid way to spend 20 minutes. Hey Donna, how you doing? Looks like Lisa's back. Welcome back, Lisa. And Bruce says, yes, can never change. If you change that Live by Night poster on the wall, I will immediately unsubscribe. Just kidding, of course. Well, that will probably not get taken down because that is signed by most of the cast of the movie. It's signed by Ben Affleck, who also wrote and directed the movie. It's signed by Zoe Saldana, Ellie Fanning, Chris Messina, Sienna Miller, Chris Cooper, Zoe Saldana. The only cast member who didn't sign that poster, who has their name above the title, is Brendan Gleeson. He's the only one who didn't sign that. But yeah, in all fairness, I might, because I have like a few signed posters, I might switch it out once in a while, but I'm never getting rid of that. That's a nice poster to have. Noah says, if you're willing to work all day, you can make good money. I make over $1,300 a week in Phoenix and using Uber and Lyft. Well, but who wants to work all day? I mean, seriously. Like, here's the thing. I find it interesting. Just interesting. I'm going to throw this out here, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing the point of this. But I always thought people wanted to get into business for themselves so they can work less, not more. Work smarter, not harder. And yet, everyone who goes to business is like, yeah, screw the 9 to 5, screw the man. I don't want to work 8 hours a day and have a steady paycheck and have benefits and everything. I'd rather work for myself and work 12 to 15 hours a day with no security. And by the way, Uber can kick you off whenever they want. Just ask our friend from Chicago. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. If you want to do it, that's fine, but anyway, let's see here. Noah Jones said, yeah, okay, he had a few of them. So he's like, bro, I bought a Hyundai Elantra 2013 with 26,000 miles on it, plus 150K mile warranty. Car was $12,000. Working on paying off this car in 6 months. Well, look, you'll probably pay it off in 6 months, but what if it breaks in a year? Like, a used car is even less reliable than a new one. Look, and yeah, you're going to blow through that 150K mile warranty very, very fast. So, anyway. Rideshare Lisa says, I have a full-time W-2 job, and I still put over 44,000 miles on my car last year. Yeah, no, it's pretty easy to do that. Yeah, so that 150K warranty is not going to last you a year if you're making what you say you're making. John Wayne says, well, my next car is going to have to be newer because my van is an '06. I only have 2 years left for Uber, like 3 for Lyft since they take older. My goal was to upgrade to an SUV and a Suburban to do so. Yeah, and here's the thing. I will say, if you have a goal in mind, Uber and Lyft is not a bad way to hit that goal. If you have like, hey, I want to get this and this is my goal, doing a little Uber is not the worst thing you could do to hit that goal. It really isn't. So, for whatever it's worth, if you have a goal, and you know I'm going to be doing it just for this amount of money, enjoy it. Do it. But I just wouldn't do it forever. Todd says, a lot of drivers are opioid freaks. They can't pass a... I'm not going to go there. I'm just not. But anyway. John Wayne says, but now I hear Select is leaving. Select will be discontinued in July. Lisa says, Randy said he still has the app, so if he wanted to do a ride, he could. And I suspect Randy likes to do it once in a while. And Uber is a little personal for him. He really was able to turn his life around because of Uber, so I think he really does like Uber, and he kind of wishes he could still do it. But he was saying near the end there, and in fact, I even remember the video where he quoted my video, and I got a lot of new subscribers when he did that. That was great. But he said, you know what, this is Uber today, and I don't see it getting any better. So I don't think you need to protest. I think you need to quit. And that was the day where I realized he was and I could see the hurt in his eye. It really pained him to say that. It really did. But you know, that's life, I guess. Let's see here. Bruce said, yes, your personal driver is gone too. Was good watching him live stream up in Seattle while he was there. Oh, yeah, I was talking to your personal driver not too long ago. Yeah, he actually misses YouTube. He has talked that he wants to come back to YouTube, but he's not really sure if there's an audience for him anymore. He kind of looks at the rideshare thing like it's kind of become about one person, which is Dustin. We all know it's about Dustin. And he doesn't know where he fits in anymore, but there you go. Let's see here. Todd says, how come there's no drug test for Uber and Lyft driver? Every other profession is because you're independent contractors. That's why. Richard Fine. Oh, wow. I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? Most people can't run their own business. No, they can't. It's difficult. Running your own business is difficult. Heck, running an eBay store is difficult if you're not careful. So anyway, Manuel Lopez says, hey, I'm going to Disney World in 2 weeks. The price hasn't gone up. Are you still going? We've talked about it. Actually, the price did go up. Not nearly as much as Disneyland, but it did go up. So me and Katie we're on the fence about it. And here's the other thing. I didn't realize this. Apparently, Disney World's going to be celebrating the 50th anniversary of the theme park this year. The prices are going to go up again for that. So we're kind of in this boat right now where we're like, if we decide to go, it's going to be a farewell trip. We're going to go, and then unless the prices come down significantly in the next few years, we're not going to be going back for a long time, probably 5 to 10 years. Which it's sad. It hurts to think that we're at that point where we actually have to walk away from it for 5 to 10 years. But I'm trying to be half glass full guy too. And I've been to Disneyland hundreds of times. And I have to remember, there's a lot of people who never get to go once. So I've been more than blessed with Disneyland. If I never go to Disneyland again, as much as it will hurt, I'll be okay. I've definitely gotten a good fill of it. Todd says he's been watching my channel for 3 years. Thank you. I appreciate that. Manuel says, are you moving from LA anytime soon? No, not at least for another year. Maybe 2. The time will come, though, when it's time to move on from LA. It's too expensive. I don't think we can afford a house here, and I don't know. It's losing a little of its luster, but I will miss the movie theaters. I love having the movie theaters nearby. Let's see here. Noah Jones says, Arizona has strict DUI laws. I make more money here than when I drive in Cali 2-year driver. Well, yeah, because California really doesn't pay very well compared to the cost of living. That's why. Our DUI laws are pretty strict, too. Todd says, I've been making a lot of money getting boxes from supermarkets for free and selling them to people in my area doing eBay. Great business. Oh, good for you. Rideshare Lisa says, I bet Mark will be there. Mark might be there. And I'd like to meet Uberman Tampa, too. So, I mean, I think we probably will go to Disney World, although it's kind of been delayed till March of next year, just because there was. Katie expressed that she wanted to visit her grandma this year, so we're going to be in Virginia, not Virginia. We're going to be in Rochester, New York this year, and then we're going to a few months later we'll go to Disney World. But yeah, anything. Noah says Arizona has more disposable income than a lot of states as well. People go out to eat all the time and lots of airport runs. It's 80 degrees here and it's winter. Yep, that's because Arizona's like the rent. I'm gonna. I don't know if I can actually see if I can do this without the computer locking. No, I can't. So, okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it here. Another thing that's slowing me down right now is I need to get a new computer here because this computer is just causing me nothing but problems. But let's go to let's see. How about rent.com? Why not? Rent.com. So, you go to Los Angeles, CA, and let's do search. And we'll filter by price low to high. Low to high. And let's pass by these. So the cheapest I can see is one. Well, actually, let's actually go to the. It's called the Langham's Apartments. It says $1,000 plus, but let's see what's actually available. So we have a studio. Yeah, see, here's the studio. The studio with one bath starts at $1,500 a month. You get to 2 bedrooms, it's $1,900 a month. And by the way, this is the cheapest one. I'm kind of looking at these pictures here, and it's not super nice. It's not, but it's okay. Now let's try Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm gonna same thing. It's going to be, let's do the cheapest one that's not sponsored. And so their studio starts at $600 a month. And their 2 bedrooms, $900 a month. Phoenix, Arizona. And look, that's about as nice as the Los Angeles one. So I don't see myself staying, unfortunately. I wish I could stay here, but I don't know if it's possible. I really don't think it is. Nathaniel says, I want to go, but not even the California discount can convince me to go. The California discount, the Southern California discount, well, first of all, you have to live in Southern California. They base it off your driver's license. But, yeah, even the Southern California discount's not much. So, Emmanuel says, are you leaving the country anytime soon? We want to go to Japan in a year and a half, but that's a little far away right now. Let's see here. Lisa says, that's by me. I'm about an hour away. Are you talking about in Florida? Are you from Florida? Or are you talking about Arizona? I don't know which one. Sorry, I don't know which. I wasn't seeing you write that while I was talking, so sorry about that. Ryan says, will you be seeing anything on Broadway when you go to New York? Yeah, I don't know what we're going to see. We're going to go to the tickets box office because that's where they sell the discounted tickets. But yeah, we're going to see something there. Manuel says, I haven't done rideshare in 2 years and food delivery in a year, but still like to hear your videos. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Do you like the non-rideshare videos? Because those are the ones that need the thumbs up and the sharing, by the way. Todd says, by the way, it's called Ibuda. Ibada. Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks. Noah says, bottom line is even though rideshare doesn't pay too well, it has its pros and cons. I enjoy having my money the same day instead of waiting for a paycheck. Yeah, although I actually think getting the money on the same day is actually one of the cons. Because personally, I feel, and this is just me, but when you can cash out right away, I've noticed people who can do that tend to not budget very well. I'm not saying that's you. You might budget very well, but there's a lot of I actually encourage people who do Uber and Lyft, don't cash out. Just budget for the week to week, because cashing out. Not to mention, if you're spending 50 cents a day, at least sometimes it's twice. Most people cash out twice a day. That's $1 a day. That's $7 a week. That's that's an extra that's over $300 a year just to cash out. I mean, I don't think that's worth it myself, but whatever. So, John Wayne says, I want to drive in Colorado and Arizona for a week, but the paperwork would take longer than that. I agree. Let's see here. John Wayne says, do you have any blood sport stuff in your... I don't know what the heck blood sport is. I'm sorry. Manuel says, Jeff Bezos bought a house in LA for $165 million and it's pocket change for it. Yeah, I know. Don't remind me. He's going to actually be over here. Rideshare says, Rochester, New York. Oh, you're in Rochester. Well, maybe we'll see one another. Who knows? Manuel says, go see Book of Mormon. Oh, I've seen Book of Mormon. I've seen it twice, in fact. In fact, I saw it with the original cast. So I saw it with Josh Gad as Elder Cunningham. So I'm very familiar with Book of Mormon. Okay, so folks, we're in our last 9 minutes. Our last 9 minutes. Are there any other final questions, comments, whatever? Now's your chance to discuss and ask away. I like to have these things less than an hour if possible. So, and I'm running out of my drink. It's getting let's see here. John Wayne, the movie with Van Damme, You Got Rocky. Oh, no. I've never heard of that movie. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, I mean, I'm not a great actor. I mean, I don't think I'll ever forgive him for Street Fighter. Roy says, why don't you try Las Vegas? Are you talking about moving there or visiting? Because I'm visiting Las Vegas in a couple months. That's on the table. But And yeah, Vegas is a lot cheaper. It's also a lot harder. My poor chinchilla Perry would probably die in Las Vegas. He's got that fur coat on. So, but actually, we've discussed Vegas. You can certainly buy a house in Vegas, and that's nice. So, I don't know. We'll see. Manuel says, don't go to China. I do want to go to China. Not anytime soon, but I do want to go to China at some point. So, but yeah, I know they've got that coronavirus thing going on, so not the safest place in the world to go at the moment. Of course, it might not matter if that thing spreads, right? So, anything else? I think we're going to be wrapping it up then. Oh, yes, moving there. We've discussed it. Maybe we will. I don't know. The funny thing about Vegas, though, is I don't know how much fun I'd have there, to be honest. I do like the shows. And I like Penn and Teller. I don't drink, though. I don't gamble. So, that's yeah, I don't know what I do there. And John Wayne said, these were before Street Fighter. He was better when he was younger. You need to watch Bloodsport and Double Impact. I think I've watched 15 minutes of Double Impact. Didn't like it. I don't like those kinds of movies. I mean, I know you're thinking like, oh, he likes Rocky, so he must like... No, I like Rocky 1, 2, 3, Rocky Balboa, Creed. I don't like Rocky 4, 5, which is the typical 80s action movie. And I like First Blood, which is Rambo, but I don't like Rambo 2, 3, or 4, or 5. Actually, I only like the first Rambo, now I think about it. So, Rideshare Lisa says, another Roy in Las Vegas. Yeah, well, you know what? No, I won't say that joke. I want to say it, but I won't because it's unnecessarily cruel. Ryan says, around how many Criterion Collection Blu-rays do you have now that you have Roma? I have a little over 300. Little over 300. Manuel says, do you smoke weed? Nope, never have, never will. Unless I get stomach cancer, then I might smoke weed. Roy says, likewise, but there is so much to see and do. I know there is, and I mean, that's why I visit there, but the main draw for Las Vegas is the gambling and the booze, of which I don't partake in either of it. Johnny says, what, the soundtrack to Rocky IV is the best? Well, yeah, the soundtrack to Rocky IV is great. Movie sucks, though. Like, movie sucks. It's like an MTV music video. It really isn't good. I'm sorry. If you like it, hey, more power to you. I loved it as a kid. As a kid, Rocky IV was my jam, and Rocky I was awful. I couldn't finish it. I got older, and Rocky I was a way better movie, and Rocky IV aged very, very poorly. What are you, 25? No, I'm 35, but thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. By the way, if you want a good movie, check out Snowpiercer on Netflix. It was directed by Bong Joon-ho, who most recently won the directing and picture Oscars for Parasite. And wow. I'm like, give me more Bong Joon-ho movies. This guy is amazing. This guy is absolutely amazing. So, all right, we're in the last 4 minutes. Last 4 minutes. Maybe I should have done tonight like a call-in because I actually have like a lot of people watching tonight. So that might have been good, fun to do. Do you have Kirk Douglas's autograph? I thought of asking now that he has sadly passed away at 103. No, I don't have Kirk Douglas's autograph. I wish I did, but I don't. But man, that happens. There's a lot of autographs that I will probably never have in my life, so that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I've got quite a collection, though. Todd Knight says, Kevin, do you think the taxi business will rebound and kill Uber and Lyft? It might, only because I think that Uber and Lyft will be regulated to be more like the taxi industry, and thus it will just be a taxi service, and it'll rebound that way. Essentially, you'll have multiple apps that you can get a ride with. John Wayne says, I don't know. There's something about Rocky IV soundtrack and GoldenEye 64 that go together as a child. I do not like GoldenEye, the video game. I don't. I know it's sacrilegious to say, especially since I'm a gamer. I have never liked GoldenEye. Granted, I'm not much of a first-person shooter person. I'm not. But I don't like... Actually, I think GoldenEye 64 is especially bad today. I appreciate what it did for first-person shooters on consoles that made them accessible. But especially now that we've gotten Halo and Half-Life 2 since then. And, I mean, you could argue Destiny. We've gotten much better first-person shooters, so GoldenEye 64, I think that just needs to stay in the past. It's not very good. Anyway, Manuel says, I bet you love the pizza in New York. Of course I love the pizza in New York. New York pizza is the absolute best. I love those. It's like, Rachel Lisa says, no one is doing call-ins anymore. I enjoy those. Okay, well, maybe we'll do a call-in next week. That would be fun. Katie says, honey, I'm coming in. I'm going to do my Katie dance. Well, okay, honey, just remember, it's live, and it's going to stay up. It's not coming down, but feel free to do that.
Hi, I'm going to do the Katie dance. Here we go.
That's what she does when she gets excited, folks. That's what she does. Is this your way of telling me that I've been on too long?
Yes.
Yes, okay. what's mine is hers, I suppose. So anyway, all right, folks, this is pretty much where we're going to end this one. But thank you for joining me, and it was fun as always. For those of you who might be watching after the fact, you know the drill. I'd like to know what you think about any of these topics, so comment below, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. And let's see if I can actually. Oh, did the computer lock up again? I gotta get a new computer, honey.
Yeah.
See, just freeze. It just freezes.